Welcome to Jazz Fun at Jazzahead 2025. With me here is Kasiva Mutua. Welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
You're from Kenya, and I mean, we know about African music, but not that much about Africa and jazz music. So what is going on there?
So thank you for first asking that question, and thank you for having me here. Jazz is a very broad spectrum of music. And when I talk about African jazz, we're not talking about traditional jazz. We're talking about us owning jazz within our cultures and our traditions. And that means collaborating and mixing up elements that represent us and our rhythms, our textures, with the fundamental aspects of jazz. So it creates jazz that is a bit outside of the box, which is borderless, freer, that expresses who we are as Africans, and is fun, rhythmical, makes people dance like last night, and is very colorful just like our cultures. So that's jazz from Africa.
Beautiful. Yeah. I mean, you're a rhythm master, you're playing the percussions, and as a percussion player, you're also moving in a male domain in a way. So how would you just develop yourself as a percussion artist?
Yeah. So it's true that I am a female percussionist in a male-dominated field. And it hasn't been that easy, but over time, we're starting to see many, many major changes and shifts in how we relate to genders in the musical ecosystem. As a trailblazer now, I am teaching other young women and girls to follow suit and to be able to express themselves and tell their stories using percussion as a tool of expression. And from the hard work that I see we put in every day and I put in every day, there's results to it. There's more respect, there's more inclusivity, and that gives me even more space and more tools to be able to expand more. Before, I was only teaching women, and now I am teaching everybody, because I realize for an empowered movement, you cannot segregate genders. You have to teach everybody, and that's my life's work.
How does your band look like?
My band is a beautiful band. That's my family. I have a drummer. They're all men for now. I have a drummer, guitar player, a keyboard player, bass player, and a trumpeter. And I have to say the trumpeter is a very, very close friend of mine. He just attempted the Guinness World Record of the longest trumpet marathon a few months ago. And his name is McKinley Motsembe. He's a jazz cat that is a spotlight and very keen on the spotlight on African jazz.
How would you do a trumpet marathon?
I know. I was there watching him. He blew the trumpet for 24 hours straight. Yeah. We went to bed, we showered, we ate, we went back. He was still there. That's McKinley for you. Such an amazing, amazing guy. Yeah.
But if you talk of what you are doing, it's also important to mention the oral tradition that's in your music, and also the poetry, the storytelling. So how much does it come into your work?
This comes as naturally as breathing for me, because in our cultures, storytelling is part of our lives. We teach skill, we teach discipline, we teach the environment and other fundamental things through storytelling. And passing down knowledge is always done through storytelling from the elders to the younger ones. And in the same way I have been taught, I am also teaching in the ways that I understand. I find it to be very impactful when you teach through storytelling, because the approach is much more interesting. It's like having a young kid have its medicine, instead of like forcing them to eat the medicine. If you zoom, they have the medicine much better. and they smile just like you did. So storytelling is very fundamental in teaching and educating and still entertaining. It holds and puts everything in one, and keeps holistically the cultures and traditions intact.
So now I'm thinking of Nairobi, and I think, where would you just be able to get this kind of education? Because, I mean, I would always go and search for a teacher like you, you know, and you're so positive, you're so engaged, and, you know, I feel the power that you have. So where would you be able to learn such things?
But as a country, and not only just in Nairobi or in Kenya, but generally in Africa, as I said, these are part of our cultures. So most of the people teach the way I teach. Most of the people speak in examples and in stories and in little jokes, because we are born in cultures and raised in a system that just story tells from when you're a little kid, and you grow up and you become an adult and even an old person, and you just realize this is the way we've been doing our things for the longest time. And it could be shocking to other parts of the world, but this is just how we do our things. It's the same way maybe you go somewhere and you find people sitting on the floor, and this is how they're used to doing their things. In our cultures, we storytell everywhere. So generally, you don't have to look for a person or an institution to learn these things about storytelling. Anybody you meet will be a storyteller. But then now, to find masters of drumming, then you have to find people who have the skill of drumming. And generally, you can literally find them everywhere. They're in the city, they're in the villages, they're literally everywhere. Yeah.
So how many times have you been to Europe?
Oh, many times before. It's my first time in Bremen, but I have been to Europe before. I have toured extensively in Europe. I have been part of collaborative projects, but this is the first time I am presenting my own body of work, and I'm really, really excited. Yay!
We're here at Jazzhead 2025, and I mean, how would you just see these days for you? I mean, how would you use it? What is challenge do you get from being here?
So I have been here for a couple of days now. I have to say I'm absolutely loving the temperature and the vibe at Jazzahead. Yes, the people are very positive. Everybody's greeting us with big smiles, and I mean, even though we had a very long flight, you forget the fatigue and you just get into the groove and get into the vibe. I'm loving the networking opportunities that Jazzahead presents for everybody. I'm loving the cultural interactions that I'm having with people, based on the fact that we are coming from Africa and most of the people here are coming from Europe. So I love the curiosity that people are approaching us with. People are asking a lot of questions about how we are dressed, what kind of music we're bringing, my earrings, beads, everything. That's really cool. I also have to say that I am really impressed by the showcases that are happening here, because you can really see the adaptation of jazz from group to group. It's really interesting how people have their own very beautiful approaches to this very vast land called jazz. You know, I love that people are personalizing their styles. People are putting their own touches and spices, and I generally love the diversity that Jazzahead is presenting to everybody. It's a lot of fun to witness.
What would you say is the most important thing for you to get across?
I think for me, it is the diversity. I am very, very keen on culture and cultural policies and just the conversations around culture and tradition. And for me to see these diversities and to see people's cultures being represented and the evolution of these cultures, and especially the jazz culture, then that is something that is really picking my mind. I'm so excited to just like see the showcases, talk to people, see what inspires them, talk about their cultures, and see if like their cultures is influencing their jazz approach. It's so exciting. I live for this every day. Yes.
What a pleasure to talk to you. Kasiva Mutua, what a discovery.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.